Hey everyone, Harry here to talk about a motion to disqualify Fani Willis in the Fulton County case and dismiss an indictment against one of the defendants, Michael Roman. All right, so point one, this is a really kind of scurrilous, even seamy motion. It alleges, with scanty proof, that Fani Willis has been having an affair with the special prosecutor in the case, the person she hired, who will stand up and lead the charge to the jury, and that he's married. That's a big part of it. Let's just start with a very big point to underscore. There's no proof of this and offered in the motion, but there's a fair bit of smoke and some reporting from different sources that seem to say that people have generally been aware that Fani Willis and this man Wade have been having an affair, and Wade is getting a divorce, and supposedly someone got a peek at the sealed filing in the divorce, and it alleges not just an affair, but luxury vacations that he's paying for and the like. So maybe it's all crap and really sort of nasty bottom feeder gutter crap at that, in which case we could just stop here. But let's assume that there's something to this. And now, how serious could it be? Obviously, it could be quite personally embarrassing for Fani Willis. It does seem like she could really figure out a better person to appoint to run the case than her paramour, if that is what's happened. And it's, could be a huge distraction as they, go through the facts of the details of the affair and the like. It could be, all of a sudden her being put on trial, which presumably is what Michael Roman, the client here, who's moved to the defendant, who's moved to dismiss the charges. He is, by the way, a kind of, bottom feeder operative for Trump, and, a guy who traffics in this sort of thing. But so let's say, nevertheless, that this ugly set of charges, and it's 120 some page motion that are accurate. What could happen? Well, there's something that is going to catch everyone's eye and is in the Atlanta Journal-Constitution, because it's an opinion by a man named Stephen Gillers at NYU, who's generally the dean of the ethics bar. He's the sort of go-to guy for whether certain conduct is ethical. He's been all over the place, for example, on the Supreme Court justice stuff. And he says that if it's true, and so that if is huge, circled, underlined, etched in stone. It could be all really bogus, but again, if it's true, he actually says that there is the potential for a problem, because the worry is that Willis hasn't exercised independent judgment, which the voters of Fulton County expect her to, vote her to. That's her obligation, and maybe it at least looks that way. It's a little bit perplexing to me why Gillers would say that. What is it about the investigation and prosecution of the case, and that's what Gillers talks about, that would be clouded or even biased by the fact that the head person working on whom you've appointed is you're in a relationship with. But that Gillers says that means that there's going to be some legs here, and by the way, of course, Roman almost certainly coordinated with Trump, and Trump did a triumphant, nasty, Trump tweet as soon as this motion was filed. Now, I'm not a ethics expert myself, and certainly not in Georgia law. They do have also a Georgia expert who basically says, why didn't the person come forward with proof? But that also seems to me to be beside the point. But a very quick examination of how Georgia ethics works doesn't seem to me that it looks as if Willis can properly be charged with not going through the right process for hiring Wade. Also, perhaps it's just an inherent flaw that poses a problem within the office, maybe even between her and the voters, if she's hiring and not making clear that she's, the fact of the relationship, yet hiring him to do the biggest case in her office ever. But I don't see the argument is for disqualification that Michael Roman has made. His very long, pretty tawdry motion doesn't lay out much, just, bandies about the Fifth Amendment and 14th Amendment, and really doesn't get down to a case for disqualifying Willis. And my very quick look and sort of quick check-in with people who I respect makes it dubious that there would be any claim for disqualification. So the whole thing, on the facts, hardly no proof, big if. But then on the law, even if the facts are right, it seems to be an over extension and not justified to say she needs to be disqualified. That's what you can say in her defense. Now, of course, though, we have to think about this as it's going to actually play in the public eye. And so on the facts, I think, she has said, I will answer this in the filings, and I'm sure she will. But if it becomes a kind of he said, she said question about whether they were having an affair or not, and reporter goes to, the resort in the Bahamas and shows the pictures, and that's a tremendous distraction, and it's a total gift for Trump because it changes the subject to is she having this affair. So that's on the facts. And then there's just the real possibility that even if this is factually dubious, presumably if it's factually meritless, it goes away and this guy should be sanctioned, etc. But if it's dubious, but there's something there, or even if it's actually by and large accurate. So we're going to have, I think, a very big distraction about Fani Willis, maybe a fight about whether she should be disqualified. It seems the right answer is that she shouldn't be. But still, remember the incredible, relentless campaign that Trump waged against two people in the FBI who were having a relationship while they were involved in an investigation against him with Russia, Lisa Page and Pete Strzok. And it was just made for him to be able to make trouble. And so I fear, the next few days will tell the tale. But I fear that even though it's scurrilous, as I say, seamy, really sort of bottom feeder stuff, it might succeed in changing the subject, especially with a credible person like Gillers actually saying there may be some ethical problem there. So I don't think anyone has made a credible argument about disqualification, but the whole thing would be a royal mess that could cast a pretty big shadow. I'm sorry to say. We'll see in the next few weeks, but it's picking up steam pretty quickly. The top New York Times did a follow-up article, and until Fani Willis answers it, we won't know how it's going to play. But if it's actually comes to be, did they or didn't they have an affair, that's not the footing one wants to be on. And that's not the thing that makes it go away quickly. because it just gives, fodder for people to keep going after. So, hopefully, what would happen instead is a, quick decision by McAfee, the judge there to whom the motion was directed, that this has nothing to do with nothing as far as the actual criminal case against Michael Roman and his co-defendants goes. Maybe there's something for the voters of Georgia to think about in the next election. Maybe there's something as far as contracting procedures, as far as non-disclosure when he was brought on, et cetera. Oh, one other point that people are making, and you'll hear a lot about, he's made a lot of money doing this, but he's worked hard for a long time. I don't believe it's an outsized amount of money, but you'll hear the insinuations of she hires him, he makes all this money, he then takes her to the Bahamas or on cruises. And so basically she has feathered her own nest by hiring her boyfriend, who then takes her on trips, et cetera, et cetera. So again, all a kind of a seamy mess that really, in a clear-eyed way, shouldn't affect whether or not the Fulton County defendants need to stand trial, but could really sort of, throw mud in the eyes and like a mud-laden track in a horse race, just like dirt everywhere. And it could really, I fear, have a material, even though not legal, effect on the proceedings. We'll see if over the next couple of days whether the story seems to have legs. But that's the basic skinny on these allegations, and we're gonna wait now for Fani Willis to respond on the papers to the motion to disqualify her and dismiss the indictment against Roman. Talk to you later. Thanks for tuning in. If you enjoyed this video and other Talking Feds content, please take a second to like and subscribe. Talk to you later.